I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Assassin's Creed fan, but there is one game that I've always come back to, which is obviously Assassin's Creed Rebellion. You know, the super fun and non-repetitive mobile game? Just kidding, I'm obviously talking about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I've always been a big fan of pirates and an even bigger fan of murder, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag basically puts both of those things together. What more could you ask for in a video game? But anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. The game starts with me and my crew being in an epic ship battle with some random pirates. You may be wondering how this battle even started. Well, it all started when I was walking around the beautiful town of Nassau. I eventually came across these girls, and to be honest, I was pretty interested in them, so I paid them all $150, asked them all to hang out with me, and to no one's surprise, they obviously did. Come on, who could resist someone as magnificent, stylish, and downright handsome as me? Ignoring my mind-numbingly beautiful features, it turns out that all of the girls had boyfriends, and the boyfriends got pretty angry at me, so they challenged me and my crew to a ship battle. To all of those people who say life is easier for attractive people, think again. A couple minutes of friendly banter later, some assassin jumped onto the ship. Thankfully, the ship exploded, because if it didn't, I would definitely be dead. To no one's surprise, I woke up on a tropical island. It turns out that the assassin was also on the tropical island. What a totally original coincidence. I asked him if he wanted to play a friendly game of tag with me, and he surprisingly said yes. Just like every other Assassin's Creed protagonist, I had some unbelievably impressive parkour skills. Do I know where I got them from? No. Do I care? Not in the slightest. Once I caught up to the assassin, I immediately killed him. I may or may not have forgotten to tell him that we were playing murder tag, aka the more adult version of freeze tag. There's no better feeling in life than wearing another man's unbelievably sweaty outfit, so I did just that. A little while later, I came across a merchant who was being held captive by some soldiers. I usually don't go out of my way to save people from corrupt soldiers, but I currently have a vitamin M deficiency. In other words, I need my daily intake of murder. According to experts, you should be killing at least 8 people a day. When I say according to experts, I obviously mean according to my own terms. Once all the soldiers were dead, the merchant said that I could borrow his ship. Considering that I was stranded on this island, I immediately took up his offer. As I was sailing across the open sea, some lady woke me up and told me that I've been non-stop gaming for the past 23 days. As a gaming YouTuber, I can 110% confirm that that's a pretty common occurrence. Another pretty common occurrence is me wanting a cappuccino, so I went to a coffee stand and asked for one. Sadly though, the only thing that I got was the occasional death stare and a tutorial on how to clean already cleaned surfaces. Don't get me wrong, I love when people give me death stares and super useful tutorials, but I was really craving a cappuccino. As if this day wasn't already bad enough, immediately after that, these 2 people kissed right in front of me, which reminded me of how lonely I am. Life really does suck sometimes. I decided that it would be best if I went back to being a virtual pirate, so I did just that. You know what they say, if you absolutely hate yourself, just be somebody that you're not. 15% of the people who try this come back with amazing results. You may be wondering what happens when the other 85% of the people who try this come back. Well, that's the funny part. They don't. I wonder why. Anyways, after that I was feeling a little thirsty, so I went to the local bar because what better way to quench your thirst than drinking a nice tall glass of rum? Out of nowhere, some guy came up to me and said that I had a nice outfit, so I did what most people would do in this situation, which was to obviously beat him and all of his buddies to a pulp. After that, I was feeling a little bored, so I met up with the merchant. He told me that some soldiers took all of his sugar. To be honest though, is that really such a bad thing? Not only are these soldiers killing, helping innocent people, they're also trying to make the worldwide obesity rate go down. Regardless of their good intentions, I kinda owed the merchant a favor, since if it wasn't for him, I would have still been stranded on that island, so I decided to help him get his sugar back. First, I had to tail these guys because it wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without a handful of non-repetitive tailing missions. They eventually led me to their captain, so I killed him and then took his key because for some reason the soldiers locked his sugar behind some door, which was obviously inside of a heavily guarded castle because why not? Once I got to the door, I grabbed the sugar and made my way back to the merchant. When I got to the merchant, I gave him back his sugar, and he said that because I helped him, he'd make me some homemade blueberry scones. I'm not much of a sugar swallower, but I could never turn down a nice homemade batch of blueberry scones, so I decided to take up his offer. Before I move on to the next part, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel, let alone make me a very happy content creator. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get back to the video. After that, I came across an assassination contract. I've already gotten my daily dose of vitamin M, but what's the harm in getting a teensy bit more? When I say a teensy bit more, I usually do a whole lot more, but this time I stuck to my word. 47 first-degree murder charges later, I went to a random mansion. They thought I was that assassin that I played murder tag with, so they let me in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they let me in, but I look nothing like that assassin. I'm obviously a lot more handsome. Regardless of that, I eventually came across these guys that were friends with the assassin. They asked if I could show them a couple of my cool assassin moves. This is kind of an issue though, because I'm not an assassin, and if I was, my calling card would be a sticky note that says, "Sorry, wrong number." Nonetheless, I decided to give it a try anyway, and I actually did pretty good. In fact, I did so good that the guys decided to show me their super secret plan. To be honest, I kind of understand why they've kept it a secret, because my gosh, this plan is one of the most boring things I've ever had to listen to in my entire life. If they put this plan in a drugstore and labeled it as melatonin, I genuinely wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I felt like they owed me some sort of compensation for wasting my time, so I secretly looted all of them. As boring as that plan was, there was one thing that caught my attention. As I was dozing off, one of them said something about a treasure chest being hidden in a plantation. As a pirate who's pretending to be a highly skilled assassin, I had to find that treasure, so later that night I snuck into the plantation. On the way to the treasure chest, I had to sneak through the tall grass, knock out some enemies, and even do a bit of parkour. Just as I was about to get to the treasure chest, the guys who told me that mind-numbingly boring plan arrested me. They told me that this whole treasure chest thing was a setup. I knew I was too handsome to look like the assassin. Not that it mattered though, since they put me and this other guy in one of the most unsecure foot rails that I've ever laid my eyes upon. They definitely need a higher budget when it comes to prison equipment. Once we got to the main level of the ship, we started freeing the other prisoners because we needed a crew, and to be honest with you, I didn't have enough money to pay for one. I mean, I didn't really feel like paying for one. Sadly though, there's always more cons than there are pros when it comes to free stuff. In my case, the crew that I got for free turned out to be a little dumb in the head. For instance, instead of staying on one of the ships like a normal person would, they all decided to swim in the ocean. Listen, I love water as much as Redditors love spreading misinformation on the internet, but there's gotta be some boundaries. Once all the soldiers were quite literally dead in the water, I stole a ship and told my sorry excuse of a crew to hop on. Escaping was not going to be easy. Ship battle after ship battle, wave after wave, and even tornado after tornado we had to overcome. You might as well call me CJ Murphy because Murphy's Law was not giving me a break. Nonetheless, me and my crew were eventually able to reach a town called Nassau. You know, the town where I successfully hit up a couple of girls just to find out that they all had boyfriends, which then led to us having an epic ship battle. Yeah, that town. The first thing I did in the beautiful and totally safe town of Nassau was an assassination contract. I already had about 235 first-degree murder charges, so what's the harm in having some more? I usually get an adrenaline rush from committing heinous crimes, but this time I didn't, so I decided to commit some more. You know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. The first crime I did was boarding an enemy ship. This kind of reminded me of the assassination contracts. Not only do I get to do something that I like, I also get paid for it. The only difference is that I don't get paid with money when I successfully board enemy ships. Instead, I get paid with supplies that I obviously use on repairing my ship, which by the way didn't need to be repaired at all. They don't call me the fairly resourceful freebooter for nothing. After that super successful shipboarding session, I had a drink with my pirate buddies, bought some unnecessary ship improvements, and then called it a day. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you haven't already and you like my content, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.